Today I was getting ready to make homemade syrup for pancakes and waffles. And I thought, well, I was going to make it anyhow, I might as well go ahead and do a video in case you're interested in seeing how it's done. I'm sure that there's probably many ways to do this. This is just the way I know and the only way that we do it because it works for us and we like it, so we've never tried anything else. Our maple syrup, well, our homemade syrup, we flavor with maple flavoring, so it tastes like maple syrup. We do not buy store-bought syrup. We have not in several years because of the high fructose corn syrup in it. We just don't feel like, it's very good for you. And this recipe I'm going to show you, it does have a lot of sugar in it. However, I still feel like it's a better choice than the store-bought syrup. Okay, so for this recipe, you will need 3 cups of water, 3 cups of granulated white sugar, 3 cups of packed brown sugar, a half a tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and 2 tablespoons of, just a second, you can either do like maple flavoring, or what we do is we take 2 tablespoons of actual maple syrup. Maple syrup is pretty expensive, if you want just solid straight maple syrup on your pancakes, and yes, it does taste delicious, but it will go by pretty quickly. So instead we just make our syrup and flavor it with maple, and you'll never know that it's not real maple syrup. And let me show you what it looks like. So this is my current bottle, and you can see we are pretty much out of it. But you can see how it kind of coats the walls of the bottle. It is, thick like syrup, looks like syrup, tastes like syrup. It is good. So let's get started. So I took my 3 cups of water, and it's in the pot, and it's getting ready to boil. But I thought that while we wait for it to boil, I would show you what I use to put our syrup into. This is just an old bottle that real maple syrup came in. I've just reused, and I just fill this up. It stays in the fridge. But I always make quite a bit more, and I only have to make this maybe once a year, honestly. We don't go through maple syrup, or we don't go through syrup, period, hardly ever. Me and my family, our pancakes and waffles, they're really good. And so we don't feel like we need butter or syrup on them. We can just eat them plain. But there is the occasional flop, right? Whenever you make them and they just don't turn out quite as good. When that happens, then we need syrup to cover it up. Or whenever we have friends, my children have friends sleep over, they like syrup on their pancakes. So, we'll go through one batch of this for the whole year. But the extra that doesn't fit in that bottle, I put in a freezer container, and I just stick it in the freezer. And since it's a sugary, syrupy liquid, it does not freeze solid like ice does. So if I run out in that little bottle, if I run out right then, and the kids want syrup right then, I can just take this right out, pour it in that bottle, it pours right away. And it'll last so long. I mean, I've probably had this in the freezer for a whole year, it just doesn't go bad. Anyhow, so it looks like my water is starting to boil. And I have already measured out my 3 cups of brown sugar and my 3 cups of white sugar. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in here. I was trying to save time by pre-measuring this in just a big bowl, so you wouldn't have to see me measuring it out. This is not how I normally do it. And normally, as I'm making it, I will measure it out and dump it in here and do that, but to save time, I pre-measured it and put it all in the same bowl, and that turned out kind of messy. But, oh well. Okay, so I have my sugar in here, and I'm just whisking it until it's real smooth and I don't feel any of the little grains. Okay. And we want to bring that back up to a boil. Starts to boil, then I will add the lemon juice, the vanilla extract, and I just make our own vanilla extract. I use Madagascar bourbon vanilla beans, and whatever size this is, I'm not sure, we don't drink, whatever size this is, of vodka, and then I just take my 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, whisk it all in here. I don't add those until this starts to come to a boil again. But then I will add those and whisk it all up evenly. And then once that's done, I'll just turn it off and I will fill up my glass bottle. But I will not put this in the plastic freezer container until it cools, obviously. So this is what it looks like right now. Get the whisk here. You can see it's kind of dark. But that's just what it currently looks like. Okay, so you can see that it is boiling now. It has some foam on top. Just going to turn the heat down some so it doesn't boil over. And it has a good boil going. Alright, went ahead and turned that off. Now I'm going to add my tablespoon of vanilla, and I'm just reusing the spoon that has the brown sugar on it. Okay. Going to do my ½ tablespoon of lemon juice and my 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. There's 1, and there's 2. And if you really like strong maple flavor, you can add some more. I'll just add maybe half of 1. Going to whisk it all up nice and evenly. Make sure it's incorporated good. And to pour this into that little glass bottle, just use a funnel, of course. But there you have it. Homemade syrup that tastes really good. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.